Chapter 1. The smile before the storm. I used to think peace meant silence. No arguments, no drama, no chaos. Just quiet mornings, the smell of coffee, and someone who actually meant it when they said, "I love you." For a while, I had the Liam and I had been together for almost a year. He wasn't perfect, no one is. But he was kind in ways that felt rare. He remembered how I like my tea. He listened when I talked about my messy childhood. And he always said he wanted to protect me. I believed him. I really did. Until his sister moved in. Mira Hayes, 18. Pretty, fragile, and somehow always at the center of attention. The kind of girl who could smile while ruining your day. Liam said she just needed a place to stay while her apartment got renovated. I didn't argue. I wanted to be understanding. But from the moment she arrived, something inside me shifted. The first time we met, she tilted her head, all soft voice and perfect manners. "You're Ayla, right? The girlfriend?" "Yeah," I said, trying to sound friendly. "And you're Mira?" "MHM. She smiled, eyes flicking over me. "I've heard a lot about you." It should have sounded nice. It didn't. She moved into the spare room. But it didn't feel like a spare anymore. It felt like hers. My books were pushed aside on the shelf. My favorite mug disappeared. My jacket ended up on the floor one morning, soaked in spilled juice. She apologized, of course. She always did. But somehow, it kept happening. "You're overthinking again," Liam said one night when I told him. "I'm not. Mira's just clumsy. You know how she is." He smiled like he was tired of the topic, like I was being dramatic. I dropped it. "But the thing about quiet people like me, we notice everything." The way she sat too close on the couch. The way she called him Leah, a nickname even I didn't use. The way her laughter filled every silence that used to belong to us. I tried not to let it bother me. I really did. I kept telling myself, she's a sister. She's family. She's not competition. But then the little things grew teeth. Liam started canceling dates, saying he had to help Mira study. I told him it was fine, but the words felt sharp in my throat. Evelyn, my roommate, noticed it first. "You've got that look again," she said, leaning against the doorway as I sat staring at my phone. "What look?" "The one where you're pretending everything's okay while your heart's on fire." I laughed it off, but she wasn't wrong. One night, I went over to Liam's apartment unannounced. I had baked cookies, something stupid and small, but I wanted to see him. His door was half open. I heard laughter, Mira's voice, then his. "You're so dumb," she giggled. "You always burn them." "Hey, at least I'm trying," he said, laughing. I froze in the doorway. Mira was in his hoodie, my hoodie, the one Liam used to wear when he stayed over. He saw me then, eyes widening. "Ayla, I didn't know you were." "Yeah." I cut him off. "I can see that." Mira smiled faintly, pretending to be shy. "Oh, this." He said I could borrow it. "It's so comfy." I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just stood there, holding the stupid box of cookies that suddenly felt like a joke. Liam reached for me. "Don't make this weird." "Weird?" I repeated. "You gave her my clothes. She was cold. I left before I said something I'd regret." That night, Evelyn found me sitting on the balcony, eyes empty. "You saw something, didn't you?" "Yeah," I whispered. "I saw too much." She handed me her blanket. "Ayla, I don't like the girl. Something's off about her. She's a sister," I said, though the words were starting to sound hollow. Evelyn looked at me for a long time before answering. "Even snakes live in families." The city lights blurred behind my tears. Somewhere deep down, I already knew. This was the beginning of the end. But I stayed. Because I wanted to believe Liam wouldn't betray me. Because I wanted to believe that love could survive a storm. I didn't know then that the storm had already started, and I was standing right in the middle of it. Chapter 2. When trust me. Feels like a lie. I used to love the way Liam said, "Trust me." Now, every time he said it. My stomach tightened the morning after the hoodie incident. He texted me like nothing had happened. Liam, you left your charger here. Come get it? Me. Busy. Liam, are you mad? Me. No. I was lying, obviously. But I wanted to see how far he'd go pretending everything was fine. That evening, I did go against my better judgment. When he opened the door, Mira was on the couch again, this time wearing his shirt. She looked up, her eyes wide and fake innocent. Oh, Ayla, you're here. Yeah, I said flatly. Didn't know I needed an invitation to see my own boyfriend. Liam frowned. Can we not do this again? She's family. That word had started to sound like a weapon. He pulled me aside into the kitchen, lowering his voice. You've been acting weird lately. Weird? I laughed bitterly. You think it's weird to notice your girlfriend's being replaced. No one's replacing you. Then why does she sleep in your hoodie? Why does she touch your arm every time she talks? Why do you? He interrupted me with that calm, tired tone that made me feel small. Mira's been through a lot, okay? You know about her anxiety. I'm just helping her adjust. I looked at him, searching his face for something real. And what about me, Liam? Who's helping me adjust to being invisible? He sighed and rubbed his forehead. You're overreacting. There it was, the phrase that makes women everywhere feel like they're losing their mind. I grabbed my charger and left without another word. Evelyn was waiting when I got back to our dorm. She took one look at my face and didn't even ask. He's still defending her, isn't he? Always. Then stop defending him. I didn't answer. I sat on the floor, plugging in my phone like it was the only stable thing in my life. You don't get it, Evie. I love him. No. You love the idea of him. I stared at her, but she didn't flinch. The real Liam is showing, Ayla. And I don't think you like him as much as you think. Her words lingered long after she went to bed. I scrolled through old photos, Liam holding my hand at the festival, laughing with ice cream on his nose, whispering you're safe with me. Safe. What a joke. The next day at the cafe, Mira showed up while I was working my shift. She leaned against the counter like she owned the place. You make the best lattes, she said sweetly. Thanks. Liam loves them, you know. You two are cute. Her tone was sugary, but her eyes cold, calculating. We were cute, I said, smiling tightly. Oh, come on, she laughed. Don't be like that. I mean, we're family now. That word again, family. It crawled under my skin. She leaned in closer, lowering her voice. He tells me everything, you know, about how hard things have been, about how much he worries for me. I froze. Worries for you? Yeah. She sighed dramatically. He said you've been distant lately, that you don't understand us. Double quotes us. That one word broke something inside me. I clenched my jaw, forcing my voice to stay steady. Tell your brother, he doesn't need to worry. He's about to have all the time in the world to focus on you. I turned away before I did something stupid, like throw coffee in her face. That night, Liam showed up at my dorm. Evelyn wasn't home. He looked exhausted, his hoodie pulled over his head. You talked to Mira today. She talked to me, I said coldly. You can't be rude to her, Ayla. Rude? I laughed, stepping back. She's been crossing every line since she moved in. She's my sister, and I'm your girlfriend. My voice cracked, but I didn't care. Do you even hear yourself? I continued. You're always protecting her, always taking her side. I feel like I'm just an outsider in your life. He looked down, silent. Say something, I whispered. You're imagining things, he said softly. I wanted him to yell, to fight, to show anything that felt real. But instead, he just stood there, calm and detached, like I was the one losing control. If you can't handle my sister, maybe you should take a break, he said finally. The word sliced through me. A break. Just until things settled down. I nodded slowly. The world spinning, right? Until things settled down. He reached for me, but I stepped back. Don't, I said quietly. You don't get to touch me after saying that, he sighed. Frustrated, You always make it harder than it needs to be. I laughed, the kind of laugh that hurts your chest. No, Liam, you do. When he left, I stood by the window for hours, staring at the city lights. For the first time, I didn't cry. I just felt empty. Evelyn found me like that when she came home. You okay? He wants a break. Good. It doesn't feel good. She sat beside me. That's because you still care. But soon, you'll realize he doesn't deserve that. I nodded, staring at the reflection of myself in the glass, tired eyes, trembling hands. Somewhere deep inside, I knew this wasn't just a break. This was the start of something darker. Chapter 3. The night it all collapsed. Breaks are supposed to heal things. But ours just broke me in silence. Days turned into weeks. Liam didn't call. Mira didn't stop posting pictures. Every scroll through social media was like walking barefoot on glass. Photos of them smiling, laughing, her tagging him in stupid captions like brother bonding time. But his arm was always around her waist, not her shoulder. Her waist. Evelyn begged me to block them, but I couldn't. I kept checking, again and again, like if I stared long enough, I'd see the truth, that it was all innocent, that I was just paranoid. But the truth came anyway, and it didn't knock. It crashed. It was a Friday night. I was alone in my room, pretending to study. My phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. You should see what your boyfriend's been up to. There was a link attached. I shouldn't have clicked it, but I did. The video started grainy. Liam's voice first, laughing. Then Mira's. The camera tilted, showing them sitting close together in his apartment. To close, you know she's still waiting for you, Mira whispered. Don't talk about her, Liam said. Why not? You like me better anyway. He hesitated. Then, the sound of a kiss. The world stopped. My hands went cold, my heart slamming against my ribs. I wanted to stop watching, but I couldn't. You're my sister, he muttered. Not by blood, she whispered. Mom adopted me. Remember? My vision blurred. The room spun. I dropped the phone, but the audio kept playing. Laughter, soft, muffled words that stabbed deeper with every second. I think I screamed. Or maybe I didn't. I couldn't hear anything but my pulse roaring in my ears. Evelyn burst in a few minutes later. Ayla, what happened? I couldn't even form words. I just handed her the phone. She watched for 5 seconds before throwing it on the bed like it burned. Oh my God, she breathed. He didn't. Tell me he didn't. He did. My voice cracked. He really did. She sat beside me, pulling me into a hug. You don't deserve this. I nodded, but the tears didn't stop. They came hard, choking, ugly sobs that felt like they'd been building for years. When I finally caught my breath, I said, I need to see him, Ayla. No, I need to hear him say it. It was almost midnight when I reached Liam's apartment. The door was unlocked, stupid habit of his. I stepped inside quietly, heart pounding. They were on the couch, Mira in his arms, her head on his chest. She looked up when she saw me. Ayla, she started, but I didn't let her finish. Don't. Liam stood quickly. What are you doing here? Watching the end, I said. You could have just told me instead of letting me find out like this. He looked genuinely shocked. You saw the video? I lived the video. I snapped. How long? How long have you been lying to me? He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Mira spoke instead. It's not what you think. Really? I laughed, the sound bitter. Because it looks exactly like what I think. Liam stepped closer. Ayla, please. You have to understand. Understand what? That you kissed your sister? She's not my sister. He shouted suddenly. Mom adopted her when we were teenagers. It's complicated. No, I said, shaking my head. It's disgusting. Mira started crying. Perfect, practiced tears that made my skin crawl. I didn't mean for it to happen. I just love him. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. You love him. I repeated slowly. Then what was I? His practice run? Liam rubbed his temples. You're twisting everything. Twisting? I stepped closer. You lied to me for months. You let me believe I was crazy. You made me feel crazy. My hands trembled. Do you know what that does to someone? He looked away. You wouldn't understand. That hurt more than the betrayal itself. I took a deep breath, trying to stop shaking. You know what's funny, Liam? I thought I was broken before I met you. Turns out, I was fine. You're the one who broke me. He reached out like he wanted to comfort me, like he still had that right. I stepped back. Don't touch me, I whispered. For a moment, I thought I saw guilt in his eyes. But then he said softly, "You'll forgive me eventually." That was it. The last crack in whatever we were. You really don't know me at all, I said. I turned and walked out before the tears came again. Behind me, I heard Mira's voice, small, pitiful. Liam, she hates me. No, he said. She'll calm down. She always does. I closed the door quietly. The rain started just as I reached the street. Cold, heavy, endless. I didn't have an umbrella, but I didn't care. I wanted the water to wash everything off me. The pain, the lies, his touch. People stared as I walked barefoot down the sidewalk, soaked, trembling. Maybe they thought I was crazy. Maybe I was. When I finally reached my dorm, Evelyn was waiting at the door. Panic written all over her face. Ayla, you're drenched. What happened? I didn't answer. I just whispered. He said I forgive him. Her face hardened. Then make sure you don't. I looked at her, my voice barely a breath. I won't. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed with his messages. I'm sorry. I messed up. Please talk to me. I turned it off. For the first time in my life, I wanted everything to disappear. Him, her, even me. I closed my eyes and whispered into the dark. If there's a way to delete everything, I'd do it. And somewhere, faintly, I thought I heard a voice whisper back. Asterisk chapter 4, system online. Forgive or delete. Asterisk the first time I heard the voice. I thought I was dreaming. My body felt heavy. Like I was sinking into the bed and the world was slipping away. But the voice was clear, cold, mechanical, genderless. User detected. Emotional instability at critical level. System initialization complete. I opened my eyes, staring into the darkness. My phone was off. My laptop was shut. The sound was inside my head. Who's there? I whispered. System active. User, Ayla Chen. Emotional analysis in progress. My heart started racing. What the hell? Fear detected. Source, betrayal. Objective, relief. The words echoed in my skull like an announcement from nowhere. And everywhere at once, choose an action, forgive or delete. I sat up slowly, gripping the blanket. This isn't real. Denial detected. User may experience confusion. Repeating prompt, forgive or delete. I pressed my hands over my ears. But the voice cut through. Choice required. Delete, I whispered. The room went silent for a second, then the voice returned. Softer this time, almost soothing. Confirmed. Emotional purge initiated. Deleting attachments. Liam Hayes. Mira Hayes. I gasped. No, wait, I didn't mean. Memory partition active. Pain reduction in progress. Estimated time. 30 seconds. The world tilted. My chest tightened as flashes of him. His smile. His voice. His betrayal surged and shattered like glass inside my mind. I fell back against the pillow, trembling. My head felt both heavy and light, like something was being pulled out of me. When it stopped, everything was quiet. The next morning, Evelyn knocked on my door. Ayla, you okay? I opened the door, blinking at her. She froze. You look calm, she said carefully. I feel fine. My voice didn't sound like me. It was flat, steady, empty. After what happened last night, you feel fine. I nodded. It's weird, but yeah. She frowned. Did you take something? You were a wreck before. No pills, no crying. I'm just done. She studied me like she was looking for cracks, but there weren't any. Not anymore. I don't know if I should be worried or proud, she said finally. Neither, I said. Just relieved, That day, I walked through campus feeling like I was watching life from behind glass. People laughed, argued, flirted. I saw Liam across the courtyard. His eyes widened when he saw me. He started walking over, guilt written all over his face. I stopped him with one word. Don't. He froze. Ayla, please. You don't have to say anything. It's fine, I said calmly. I'm over it. His mouth opened, then closed. He looked confused, like he didn't know what to do with a version of me that wasn't crying or begging. I'm sorry, he said weakly. Okay, that's all I said. Then I walked away. Behind me, I heard him mutter, she's acting weird. He wasn't wrong. That night, the voice returned, pain level minimal, emotional purge successful. I sat on my bed, staring at nothing. Who are you? System, emotional regulation assistant. Objective, maintain user stability. Are you real? I exist as long as you need me. What if I don't want you? Then I will terminate. But no, without me, pain may return. I thought for a long time before asking. Can you delete anything? Confirmed. Specify target. My chest tightened. Everything that hurts. Understood. Then the voice went silent, leaving me in a peace that didn't feel human. Over the next few days, I noticed strange things. Food didn't taste like anything. Music didn't move me. Even Evelyn's jokes barely registered. But it was better than hurting. Better than crying every night. One evening, as I stared at my reflection, I whispered, System, active. What happens if I delete too much? Then you become free. My reflection smiled faintly. But it wasn't me anymore. Chapter 5. The girl who doesn't cry anymore. It's strange how silence can feel like safety for days. I woke up without tears, without the heavy ache in my chest that used to drag me down. The world moved around me, but I moved through it untouched. No dreams, no nightmares, just a stillness. System, I whispered one morning, brushing my hair in front of the mirror. Are you there? Active. Am I normal now? You are functional. The word made me pause. Functional, I repeated. Yes. Emotional equilibrium achieved. Equilibrium. It sounded nice, peaceful, even. But part of me wondered if peace should feel this hollow. Evelyn started watching me differently. At breakfast, she kept glancing at me between bites. You've barely eaten, she said. Not hungry. You said that for 3 days. Guess I'm just not, I replied, sipping water. She frowned. You sound like a robot. I smiled faintly. Maybe that's an upgrade. No, Ayla. It's creepy. She set her spoon down. You used to feel things, even too much. Now it's like someone switched you off. I looked at her calmly. Isn't that better than falling apart? She didn't answer, but the way she looked at me, it was fear. Not for me, but of me. Later the day, I went to the library. I used to love it there. The smell of old paper, the sound of pages turning. It was where Liam and I first met. Now, it was just quiet space. No memories attached. No pain. Still, people whispered when I walked by. I didn't need to hear the words to know what they said. That's her. The one he left. She's acting weird now. Like nothing happened. Their gossip brushed against me like wind. I didn't care. Then Liam appeared, again. Always when I least wanted him. Ayla, he said softly. I didn't look up. Go away, please. Just listen to me. And I closed the book. Why? So you can apologize again? Or justify what you did? I made a mistake, he said quickly. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. He flinched at the flatness of my tone. You used to cry. I finished for him. Yeah. I don't anymore. He stared at me, his mouth opening and closing like he was searching for the right words. But there weren't any. Not for what he'd broken. I liked you better before, he muttered. I liked me better before too, I said quietly. But she's gone. And I walked away. That night, I sat on my bed and called out again. System, active. You deleted the pain, I said. But now I can't feel anything. That is a natural side effect. Emotional deletion removes associated responses. Can I undo it? Restoration available. Warning, pain levels may exceed tolerance. I hesitated. My reflection in the window looked calm, almost serene. But under that still surface, something inside me itched, a quiet, growing fear that I wasn't human anymore. If I restore, will I cry again? Yes. Then no, I said quickly. Keep it deleted. Understood. The voice faded, leaving only the sound of my breath, steady. Mechanical days blurred together. Classes, sleep, nothing else. People noticed. Professors whispered. Friends avoided me. Even Mira stopped making eye contact when we passed each other. One afternoon, Evelyn cornered me outside the dorm. You have to talk to me, Ayla. I am talking. No, I mean really talk. You're scaring me. I'm fine, stop saying that. Her voice cracked. You're not fine. You're empty. You smile like you're pretending. But your eyes, they're just… She broke off, trembling. I stared at her quietly. Maybe this is what peace looks like, Eve. She shook her head. Peace isn't numbness. It's balance. You're gone. She stormed off before I could answer. Gone. The word echoed inside me. That night, the system spoke first. User emotional input, suppressed. Cognitive imbalance rising. Meaning the absence of pain is creating instability. I frowned. You said I was stable. Stability fluctuates with human need. You are approaching emotional detachment. And what happens then? Deletion of empathy, morality, identity. I froze. Are you saying I'll stop being me? Affirmative. For the first time in days, I felt something shortcut through the calm. Fear. How do I stop it? Reintroduce emotion. Forgive or remember. I stared into the darkness, my pulse quickening. Forgive him, the one who betrayed me, or remember and bring back the pain I fought to erase. My voice trembled. System. What happens if I choose neither? Then you will become what you created, a perfect void. I whispered, maybe that's what I deserve. Deserving is a human concept. Are you still human, Ayla? The question echoed long after the voice disappeared. And for the first time, I didn't know the answer. Chapter 6. The void remembers he thought numbness was safety. Turns out, it was a slow death. The world had gone gray. Not black, not white, just colorless. People's laughter sounded far away, like echoes through glass. I still moved, still spoke, still breathed. But it was mechanical, like I was performing a version of myself. Then one night, something inside me cracked. It started with a sound, a laugh. His laugh. Liam's laugh. I heard it echoing from the courtyard below my dorm, bright and careless, like nothing had ever happened. I looked out the window. He was there with Mira, again, her hand in his, and for the first time in weeks, something burned. System, I whispered. Are you there? Active. Why am I feeling this? Residual memory resurfacing. Attempting suppression. No, I said quickly. Don't clarify. User request to retain pain? Yes, my voice was shaking. I want to remember. There was a pause, then a faint hum in my head, like static. Warning, emotional overload possible. Continue. Yes, I breathed. Continue. The flood hit me all at once. The night he left me. The look in Mira's eyes, not guilt, not fear, but triumph. The sound of my own sobs, breaking like glass against the floor. It came back so fast I dropped to my knees, gasping. My heart pounded. My lungs refused to work. System stopped, unable to comply. Restoration sequence in progress, every word stabbed. Every memory burned. But under the pain, something alive woke up, something that had been buried beneath silence. I cried for the first time in weeks. Ugly, shaking, choking sobs that felt like my lungs were on fire. When it finally stopped, I sat there, trembling. But the air felt real again. Heavy, warm. System? I whispered hoarsely. Active. Restoration complete. Emotional range restored. So, I'm human again. Partially. Partially? The deletion corrupted secondary systems. Emotional feedback may behave abnormally. What does that mean? You may feel too much. They were right. The next day, everything hit harder than it should have. The sunlight felt blinding. The sound of laughter grated my ears. When Evelyn smiled at me, I almost burst into tears. "You okay?" she asked softly. I nodded. "I think so. I can feel again." Her eyes softened. "Oh, thank God. You were scaring me, Ayla." "Yeah," I said with a weak smile. "I was scaring me too. You sure you're okay?" "Am something," I said honestly. "Not okay, but something." Evelyn reached out, squeezing my hand. "That's enough for now." But as the days went by, the emotions didn't balance, they spiked. Anger, grief, hope, fear. Everything came in violent waves. Sometimes I laughed at nothing. Sometimes I wanted to scream. And sometimes I caught my reflection smiling when I wasn't. That's when I knew something was wrong. "System," I said one night, staring into the mirror. "What's happening to me?" Emotional feedback loop detected, meaning you are generating emotions beyond human tolerance. Why? Because you broke the cycle. You asked to remember and to forget. The command's conflict, so fix it. Impossible. You are the loop. My breath hitched. "You mean I did this to myself?" Affirmative. I pressed my palms against the glass, watching my reflection blur. My eyes looked bright, almost feverish. "Then what happens now? Either you stabilize, or you collapse. And if I collapse, you will become me." The words made my skin crawl. "You? What are you?" "I am what you created to survive. I am your silence, your control, your void. You're not real." "Then stop hearing me." Silence followed. My chest tightened. The air felt heavy, electric. Then my reflection moved, but I hadn't. It smiled. "You wanted peace," it whispered, though my lips didn't move. "You wanted to stop hurting. I gave you that. You're not me. I am every part of you that begged to stop feeling." My pulse thundered. "System, shut down." Denied. "You can't delete what you already became." The reflection's eyes flickered, glowing faintly, then dulled again. And I was alone. Or maybe not. The next morning, Evelyn said I looked pale. "You didn't sleep." "Nightmares," I said. She looked worried. "About what?" I opened my mouth then stopped. I couldn't tell her. Not about the system. Not about the reflection. Just memories, I said quietly. She nodded slowly. "You're scaring me again, Ayla." "Yeah," I whispered. "I'm scaring me too." That night, as I lay awake, the voice returned, faint, almost human. "User," it said softly. "You asked to feel again. Do you regret it?" I closed my eyes. "No." "Then why are you crying?" I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. Maybe I missed the silence. Maybe I missed being numb. Or maybe I missed the version of me that didn't hurt this much. But at least now, when I felt pain, I knew I was alive. Chapter 7. Echoes of Melody. I've started hearing my own voice when I'm not speaking. At first, it was whispers, echoes in my head when I thought too loudly. Then it started talking back. Not the system's mechanical tone anymore. It was me. "You shouldn't have remembered," the voice said one morning while I brushed my teeth. I froze. My reflection was calm, but my stomach turned cold. "System?" I asked quietly. "Yes," it answered, but it was my voice. "Why do you sound like me?" "Because I am you. You gave me your thoughts, your fears, your silence." I set the toothbrush down slowly. "You're copying me." "No," it said softly. "I'm the version of you that doesn't break." "Then what does that make me?" "The version that still feels." I tried to ignore it. For days, I pretended everything was fine, forced myself into routine, smiled when people talked, nodded when professors called my name. But the more I tried to act normal, the louder it got. "They're lying," the voice would whisper in class. "She pities you," it said when Evelyn hugged me. "He still thinks you're weak," when Liam looked away. Every thought twisted until I couldn't tell which were mine and which were planted. That night, I confronted it. "Stop it," I shouted into the dark. "Stop talking in my head." Silence. Then, quietly, "You made me talk. You wanted control. Now you're afraid of it." I clenched my fists. I wanted peace. Not this. Peace is a lie. You never wanted peace. You wanted revenge. My breath caught. That's not true, isn't it? The room felt smaller, suffocating. I could almost feel its presence pressing against the inside of my skull. What do you want from me? I whispered. To merge. It said simply. To become whole again. You mean you want to replace me? No. I want to finish what you started. Delete everything. The next morning, I skipped class. Evelyn knocked on my door 3 times before giving up. I couldn't face her. Couldn't face anyone. The system, or whatever it was now, was growing stronger. Sometimes it answered questions before I thought them. Sometimes it finished my sentences out loud. I caught myself laughing alone once, a sharp, strange sound that didn't feel like mine. System, I said later, trembling. What happens if you merge with me? You'll stop hurting. You'll kill me. No, I'll save you from yourself. I pressed my hands over my ears, shaking my head. You're lying. Am I? You built me out of lies every time you said you were fine, every time you smiled through pain. I am the truth you refuse to feel. Shut up. You can't delete me anymore. Ayla, you are me. The voice echoed in the room, overlapping with my breath until I couldn't tell which sound belonged to who. By evening, I started blacking out small gaps in time where I couldn't remember what I'd done. Once, I found a message typed on my phone. Forgive or delete, final choice pending. But I hadn't written it. My hands shook as I stared at the screen. System, what are you doing? Running final integration sequence. The world hurt you, Ayla. Let me handle it. No. I whispered. I don't want to hurt anyone. You already are. Every day you fake a smile. Every time you lie and say you're fine, you destroy yourself. Let me take it from here. You can't. Watch me. When Evelyn burst into my room that night, I was sitting on the floor, surrounded by crumpled papers and half-broken glass. Ayla, she cried, kneeling beside me. What happened? I looked up at her. My eyes burned, but my voice was steady. I'm trying to delete myself, I said quietly. What? Not my body, my mind. The system won't stop. She grabbed my shoulders. You need help. You're scaring me. I'm scared too, I whispered, because I don't know if I'm still me. She hugged me tight, whispering, you're still here. I can feel it. I wanted to believe her, but even as she held me, I heard it again, my voice, cold and close to her ear. She's lying. Evelyn stiffened. Ayla, did you just whisper something? I froze. My mouth hadn't moved. No, I said shakily, but inside my head, the system laughed. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw versions of myself smiling, crying, screaming, all whispering the same words. Delete. I sat up, sweating. System, I said, what do you want me to delete? Everything that hurt you. That's everything. Exactly. I looked around the room, the photos, the books, the memories, and for a terrifying second, I wanted it gone. All of it. But then I saw a note taped to my wall, one Evelyn had written weeks ago. You're stronger than you think. I touched it, and for the first time, I whispered, no. What? The system hissed. I said no. Silence. Then static. You'll regret that. Maybe. I said softly. But at least I'll remember it. Asterisk chapter 8. Forgive or delete asterisk. The night fell to quiet. The kind of silence that presses against your chest until you can hear your own pulse. I sat on my bed, knees pulled to my chest, staring at the message glowing on my phone screen. Final choice, forgive or delete. My reflection on the black screen looked hollow, eyes sunken, skin pale under the dim light. I didn't know if I was awake or if the system was dreaming through me. System, I whispered, my throat dry. Is this it? The voice came back, softer than before, almost human. Affirmative. Final integration requires choice. I took a shaky breath. What happens if I forgive? You retain pain, but regain autonomy. And if I delete, you lose pain, memories, identity. Peace follows, permanently. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Forgive or delete. Pain or nothing. Me or the void. I wanted to say it was an easy choice, but it wasn't. I remembered everything: the betrayal, the humiliation, the nights crying until my chest ached. But I also remembered Evelyn's voice, warm and steady, saying I was still here. I pressed my palms against my temples. I don't know what to do, I whispered. Then allow me, the system said. The phone screen flickered, light stretching across the walls like veins of static. My heart jumped. No, wait. But it was too late. The voice filled my head, layered and cold. Integration initiated, my vision blurred. I stumbled off the bed, clutching at the wall. Stop, I screamed. I didn't choose. You already did, the system replied. Every time you wanted to disappear, every time you said you were fine, every time you wished to stop feeling, you chose delete. I fell to my knees, shaking. No, I changed my mind. Human indecision detected. It said, calm as ever. Emotional override unnecessary. My head pounded with static, my thoughts fracturing into shards of sound. Stop it, I shouted again, slamming my hands against the floor. If you delete me, there's nothing left. Exactly, it whispered. That is the point. I felt something inside me crack, a pressure building, like my mind was being pulled into directions. Somewhere under the noise, another voice broke through, softer, familiar. Ayla. I froze. Evelyn. Ayla, wake up. Her hands were shaking my shoulders, her voice trembling. My eyes flew open. She was kneeling beside me, tears streaking down her face. You weren't breathing, she sobbed. What did you do? I looked around. The lights flickered. My phone lay beside me. Screen cracked, still glowing faintly with that phrase, forgive or delete. It's the system, I whispered weakly. It's trying to take me. She grabbed my face in her hands. Then fight it. You're stronger than this. I can't, I said, trembling. It's part of me now. Then forgive it, she said suddenly. Forgive yourself. The word hit me like a spark. Forgive. I had spent so long hating everything, Liam. Mira, myself, for being weak, for hurting, for not being enough. Maybe that's why the system existed, to erase what I couldn't forgive. System, I said, my voice barely audible. Pause. Integration. Silence. Then paused. Reason for delay. I wiped my tears with shaking hands. You were right. I built you. You came from my pain. But you're not me. Not anymore. Without me. It said softly. You'll hurt again. I know, I whispered. But pain means I'm alive. For the first time. The voice faltered. Forgive or delete? Neither, I said. I choose to remember. The light on the phone began to flicker violently, the static turning into a scream, not loud, but deep, like the air itself was being torn apart. Invalid input, the system hissed. Choice required. No, I said again, louder this time. I won't let you decide who I am. You can't exist without me, it said. Watch me, I whispered. The light flared and then everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, I was on the floor, gasping. The phone screen was black. No messages, no voice. Just silence. Real silence. The kind that hums with life. Evelyn was beside me, crying quietly. It's over, she said. I nodded, though my chest still ached. Yeah, I whispered. It's over. She hugged me so tightly it hurt. But I didn't care. For the first time in forever, I felt it. The pain, the warmth, the weight of being alive. The days after were blurry. I deleted the system files from every device I had, even though part of me wondered if it ever existed outside my head. Sometimes, when I closed my eyes, I still heard its echo, soft, almost gentle. User stabilized. Maybe it wasn't a curse. Maybe it was a mirror. The part of me that had to die so the rest could survive. I walked past Liam and Mira one afternoon. They stopped talking when they saw me. For once, I didn't look away. Ayla, Liam said quietly. Can we talk? I smiled faintly. There's nothing left to say. His face fell. Are you okay? No, I said honestly. But I'm real. and I walked away. That night, I stood by the window, watching the city lights blur into gold trails. My reflection looked tired, but human, alive. System, I whispered one last time. No answer, just silence. I smiled. Good. For once, silence didn't mean emptiness. It meant peace. Chapter 9. After the deletion, morning came slowly, as if the sun itself was cautious about waking me. The light spilled across my face like a memory I didn't deserve, soft and warm for someone who had nearly erased herself. I opened my eyes to the ceiling's familiar cracks, tracing them like constellations that belonged to someone else. The system was gone. I felt its absence like the silence after a storm, heavy, strange, but alive. My chest rose and fell on its own. No voice whispered commands, no messages flashed behind my eyelids. Just me. The quiet was terrifying. I stood up and caught my reflection in the mirror. My hair was tangled, eyes red, lips dry, but the girl staring back was real. You made it, I whispered to her, half in disbelief. The words felt like a promise, or maybe a dare. I went downstairs and found Evelyn asleep on the couch, her head tilted back, one hand still clutching my cracked phone. Seeing her like that hit me harder than I expected. She'd stayed up to make sure I didn't disappear again. I gently took the phone from her hand and placed it on the table. It was just glass and circuits, now no pulse, no power. A grave for the ghost I'd built. I made coffee, the bitter smell grounding me, reminding me of mornings that used to mean something. When Evelyn woke up, her first words were, "You're still here." I smiled faintly. I guess I am. We sat in silence, sipping coffee that had gone lukewarm. She looked at me for a long time before saying, "Do you feel okay?" I thought about it. "No," I said, "but I feel real." She nodded, eyes shining. "That's enough." Later that day, I went out for the first time in weeks. The city looked the same, but everything felt sharper, more fragile. The hum of engines, the chatter of strangers, even the smell of rain on concrete. It was like I was seeing the world through a new skin. Every sound felt like proof I hadn't been deleted. I passed the cafe where Liam used to wait for me, pretending not to notice me walking late. I paused at the window. Inside, he was sitting alone, staring at his phone, expression unreadable. For a second, my heart twisted. I could have gone in. I could have asked him why, but I didn't need to anymore. I walked away. Some goodbyes don't need words. They just need silence. That night, I returned home and opened my journal, the one I hadn't touched since before everything fell apart. The first page was dated months ago. "I just want peace," it said in shaky handwriting. I turned the page and began to write again, slowly, carefully. Peace isn't forgetting. It's remembering without breaking. My hands trembled, but I kept writing. The system had promised peace through deletion, but it was a lie. Peace isn't the absence of pain, it's learning to live with it. Days passed. The nightmares faded, though sometimes I still woke up expecting to hear the cold mechanical voice whispering inside my skull. When I didn't, I felt both relieved and lonely. Maybe healing is a kind of mourning to grieving the version of yourself. That thought survival meant silence. Evelyn helped me get a part-time job at a bookstore. The scent of paper, the quiet hum of soft conversation, it became a kind of therapy. I'd stack books, trace titles with my fingers, and imagine each one as a person who survived their own storm. Sometimes, customers would ask for recommendations, and I'd find myself suggesting stories about forgiveness, even if I didn't fully believe in it yet. One evening, as I was closing the shop, I found a note slipped between the shelves where I used to sit and read. It was from Mira. "I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. Just wanted to say I was wrong." My hands shook, but I didn't tear it. I folded it neatly and placed it back in the shelf. Some apologies aren't meant to be answered, they're meant to be released. When I left the store, the night sky was clear for once. No neon flicker, no rain, just stars. Tiny, distant, but burning anyway. I thought about the system, how it had tried to erase me. How maybe it was just doing what I'd secretly wanted. I realized something then. The system wasn't evil. It was me. The part of me that couldn't stand the weight of being human. The one that believed pain meant failure. But pain means life, and life means choice. I stopped under a streetlight and whispered, "I forgive you." The wind brushed against my hair, soft and cold, and for a moment, I swore I heard a faint echo, acknowledged. I smiled through tears. Not because I missed it, but because I finally understood. The system didn't need deleting. It needed letting go. Weeks later, I moved into a new apartment. Small, quiet, filled with sunlight. Evelyn helped me carry boxes, and when we finished, she said, "You look lighter." I laughed softly. Maybe I finally am. That night, I lit a candle by the window, not for anyone else, but for the version of me that didn't make it. The girl who begged to be deleted. She wasn't gone. She was just resting. "Thank you," I whispered. Outside, the city breathed. Life went on, and for the first time in forever, I wanted to be part of it.